That means May.
Run! Hide! You'll be back. Hey, brief note to the video viewers. Apologies for last week's episode with Nate Langston being so stuttery. That is one of the dangers of having unofficial video. We don't do anything to make sure the video is good. It just, we've had a really long lucky streak. So hopefully one day we will get to the level on the Patreon where we will do things like run local backups and edit them and all of that sort of thing. But in the meantime, hopefully everything smooths out. Apologies for that episode being so difficult. The audio episode should have been fine. And you can always rely on that because that's what we're focusing on. Okie doke. Mr. Eric Franklin, are you ready to do an audio podcast?
Yes.
On video?
No.
All right, here we go.
The Daily Tech News Show was brought to you today by me. If you would like to bring it to someone, visit patreon.com/acedetect. That's patreon.com/ACEDTECT.
This is the Daily Tech News for Monday, April 20th, 2015. I'm Tom Merritt. Joining me today, very happy to have Eric Franklin, managing editor at CNET.com, back on the show. How's it going, Eric?
Good, Tom. Thanks for having me again. I'm going to try to remember to look at the camera instead of at the screen that's showing your face so I don't look like an idiot too much.
You know what? No one on the audio podcast, which is what the majority of people get, are going to notice. But now they'll have that in your mind's eye, so you won't make a mistake in their view. You'll be looking right at them in their mind's eye for the rest of the show.
We'll see about that. We'll see about me not making mistakes.
Meanwhile, we're going to talk a little bit about the release date for Heroes of the Storm and MOBAs. If you don't know what a MOBA means, maybe this will be the thing that brings it into your life, or maybe it's the thing that popularizes it, or maybe not. I don't know. But let's start off with the headlines. Two sources briefed on Nokia's plans told Recode that the company's technologies division plans to market Nokia cell phones next year. The division also has some virtual reality products in the works. Nokia Technologies is the research and patent holding division and would likely license designs to a company who would manufacture, distribute, and sell any phones, but put them under the Nokia brand. Now, don't forget, under an agreement that transferred Nokia's handset business to Microsoft, Nokia can't sell phones under the Nokia brand until the end of 2015. So at the end of this year, they can do it themselves, and they can't license that brand until Q3 2016. So, Eric, if this is true and Nokia does put out phones, we won't see them until the end of next year, it sounds like.
Right, which sounds, it makes me wonder what the details of that whole deal was. If they're saying they can't brand phones or can't sell phones with their name on it until the end of 2015, what are they doing right now?
Well, right now they have the networking business, and they just agreed to purchase Alcatel-Lucent. So everyone thinks that's their main play. It's like, oh, Nokia is going to be like, like a Cisco someday. They're gonna be like a Huawei. They're going to be into that business. They also have a business in other areas, one of which is this research area, which owns patents. Now, a lot of people thought, oh, well, they'll just license the patents out to people to make. They're not a patent troll. I'll give Nokia that. But it sounds like they want to go even further and say, yeah, even though we sold all our handsets to Microsoft, and Microsoft got to use the Nokia name for a short period of time, we've got that name back. We should do something with it.
Yeah, they should.
I mean, that's the key thing is can Nokia compete in a vicious marketplace that is dominated by Android handsets, by iOS, when they don't even control the manufacturing process?
My guess is probably not.
Well, I think that's everybody else's guess too, except for the people at Nokia Technologies.
Yeah, no offense to Nokians.
But the Nokians? I guess they're the Nokians.
There you go.
I'm curious to see what they come up with because I had the privilege of going to one of their research departments one time for a story back when I was working at CNET, and they were always coming up with incredibly innovative things that never seemed to make it into the handsets at the end of the day. And I wonder if maybe that's an advantage for them now, is they don't have these big marketing departments, this legacy brand anymore of a line that they have to deal with. They can start fresh and maybe put a lot of these really interesting technologies right into the hands of users. And honestly, maybe the virtual reality stuff is the better bet for Nokia. I mean, if they come up with a good headgear, headgear sounds right.
Yeah, I think it's called a headset, VR headset.
Yeah. Okay.
No, that's a really optimistic way to look at it. Very glasses, or we call it the glasses half full kind of way, Tom. Which I expect nothing less from you.
I do tend to do that. The fjord is half full of water.
There you go.
TechCrunch notes that the next big update for Android Wear is officially on the way. Among the new features are wrist flicking gestures. You don't even have to touch your screen. Just flick your wrist away to view the next card or notification. Flick towards you to go back and see it again. Emoji drawing will let you draw an emoji that you want to use. And new interface flow that simplifies menu access when you swipe. Finally, Wi-Fi support. This is a big one. That means your watch can connect to your phone over the internet to get notifications, even if you left your phone at home. It doesn't have to be with you. As long as both are connected to the internet, you do need to connect your watch to Wi-Fi. So if your watch isn't connected to Wi-Fi, that won't work. The LG Watch Urbane will be the first device to get the update, with others following over the coming weeks. Are you a watch wearer, Eric?
No, I'm not. I'm kind of waiting for them to figure all this out, this makes me hopeful that they're continuing to work on the interface and trying to getting it right. And that's one of the problems I have with watches in general, or not watches in general, but smartwatches in general, is just the interface. Like I have really big hands and I have big fingers, so it's gonna be hard for me to I don't know. I just feel like it's hard to navigate. I'd rather just use my smartphone for all that kind of stuff. So I'm just waiting for them to get to a point where I'm just flicking my wrists all around to do stuff, I guess.
And we're at the sort of Cambrian explosion of features right now, because Apple's getting into the game and Pebble's stepping up their game, and now Android Wear is adding features. So I would expect that and I'm kind of the same way. I'm waiting to see what these things are really good for.
Yeah.
I think maybe in the next year we'll start to see whether they're good for something and what that is.
Yeah, and that means for me I won't be buying one for at least 3 years probably. So.
Yeah, right, until the bugs are all worked out. Yeah,
exactly.
TechCrunch reports the $299 OnePlus One phone is now available to anyone who wants it. Previously, if you didn't know, you had to get an invite to buy the OnePlus One or get in on one of their limited flash sales of some kind. The follow-up phone was announced, the OnePlus 2 = 3, will arrive this autumn, and it will only be available by invite. So they're shifting the older one. It's been out for a couple of years now, and saying, okay, this one's been out long enough. We can handle the demand for that, but our new one, OnePlus 2, you're gonna have to be invited into.
Right. It's kind of weird, but all right.
Yeah, it seems to work for them, and Xiaomi does all of the flash sales, and so for these budget phones, they seem to need that kind of splash of marketing around them, but it also seems to work, I guess.
Yeah. Hey, whatever works, man.
CNET reports that Twitter users can now choose to allow direct messages from all other users, whether you are following the person or not. The system also allows users to reply to any DMs they receive without having to follow back to reply. On smartphones with iOS or Android, users will also see a direct message button on profiles that they can message. One of the examples on the Twitter blog post was, hey, there's a neighborhood ice cream store, and you want to message them about your love of their salted caramel ice cream, but they don't follow you. If they turn this on, now you can't. You can send them a direct message. Our producer, Jenny Josephson, was wondering, like, okay, this is an all-or-nothing thing. Like, I turn this on, I allow anyone to direct message me. What if I start getting a bunch of harassing messages? But there are also messages from people that I don't follow that I do want to get. There's no fine-tuned control that you can do there.
Yeah, which is unfortunate. And this is kind of, I've never liked the whole direct message interface for Twitter. It just never really worked for me. I'm not really sure why. But I mean, I think this is a step in the right direction for getting that, more fine-tuned. But I mean, I totally agree with Jenny. I don't want to open the floodgates to just anyone.
I mean, it's a larger problem than just Twitter, but it's one that Twitter didn't have to mess with when they were very restrictive about DMs. But I would run into that sometimes where I would DM a person, and then they'd be like, I can't reply to you because you don't follow me. And I'd either have to go, oh, okay, crap, I got to go, okay, now I have to follow you.
Find this person.
An organization where I'm like, well, I don't really want to follow this organization, but I want their support. So I go and I follow them until the conversation is done, and I have to remember to go and follow. All of that is over. So, yeah, it's great for companies and organizations, but I don't know. Will you turn this on? Will you let all comers DM you. I don't know if I
Absolutely not. No,
Yeah.
no. I mean, like I said, I don't really like the DM interface. It's just something about it just doesn't work for me. So, yeah, I don't want everyone DMing me. You know, I mean, if you want to tweet at me, that's good enough for me.
Yeah, make the conversation public.
I guess, I don't know.
Hold people accountable. I think this is a good move on Twitter's part, to be honest, but they are a little bit lagging behind. And they tried, in their defense, they tried to do something similar to this a couple of years ago, and Twitter users revolted because of the lack of control. The culture that Twitter had cultivated over the years was you only can direct message with people that you both agree to follow, and people didn't like that to change. I think WhatsApp, Snapchat, those situations have now changed the culture enough that Twitter might be able to get away with it this time.
Also, there's way more people using Twitter now than there was maybe a few years ago.
Yeah, that's true too. Engadget pulled an important tidbit out of a Bloomberg article in which sources claim Elon Musk almost sold Tesla to Google in early 2013 when Tesla had to close its factory due to low sales. The deal would have kept Musk in charge of Tesla for 8 years. Musk and Google's Larry Page even went so far as to shake hands on it, but the whole thing fell apart because Tesla started to make money thanks to Model S orders. Neither Google nor Tesla would comment on the Bloomberg story, but wow. It's interesting in so many ways to me, Eric, that A, Google would have bought a car manufacturer, that Elon Musk would have been a Google employee for 8 years, that Elon Musk was able to negotiate a deal with Larry Page to the point of a handshake and then back out of it without it exploding in his face.
Right.
It's really, it's one of those what-if scenarios, I guess, right?
It is, absolutely is, and it kind of makes me admire, I guess it makes me admire Elon Musk a little bit more, even more. You know, the fact that he was able to go that far with it, but then back out, because for some reason it didn't feel right. Do you think that was a right choice to back out of it at this point?
I bet it was a spreadsheet choice. He probably looked at it and said, "Look, I don't want the company to fail. Larry Page will save us, but I also don't want to sell it to them if I don't have to. And if we hit this mark on the spreadsheet, I will back out as long as I haven't legally signed and closed the deal yet." And he sounds like he got pretty close to that point, and the Model S orders finally saved him. So I think he did the right thing in keeping it as independent as possible. But he probably was also doing the responsible thing in negotiating a savior, because obviously it was a matter of timing. They just needed more time to sell more cars, and they were fine.
Yeah, I mean, definitely, I don't know. You sound like you know a lot about it. Next time I negotiating a business deal, I'm definitely going to call you.
Oh, don't do that. I'm just making it sound. I just know how to string words together that sound like I know what I'm talking about.
That's like the story of your life right there.
It all falls apart if you pay attention close. TechCrunch reports Facebook's Internet.org program launched in Indonesia on Monday. The program allows users to access certain sites without incurring data charges. The practice is known as zero rating and has been criticized a lot, most recently in India, for violating net neutrality principles. It'd be interesting to see if Indonesia has any kind of a similar controversy or if it goes more smoothly there. It's been going smoothly in places like East Africa up till now. Time for some news from you. These come from our subreddit at dailytechnewsshow.reddit.com. John Ellsworth 3 alerted us to this news from The Verge. During AMD's earnings call last week, CEO Lisa Su said, and I quote, "With the Windows 10 launch at the end of July..." What was that, Lisa? With the what? This is what she said.
Can you repeat that?
With the Windows 10 launch at the end of July, we are watching sort of the impact of that on the back-to-school season and expect that it might have a bit of a delay to normal back-to-the-school season inventory buildup. Spoiler, Lisa! Microsoft has said it will launch Windows 10 this summer in 190 countries, 111 languages, but Microsoft has not provided a date yet. You know what I think this is? First of all, big slip of the tongue on the CEO's part. But, Eric, what do you think? I'm guessing this means ship to manufacturers, because AMD would know that ship to manufacturer date is my guess.
That's what I was thinking, too. You know, they do that a lot with, I guess, with video games when
they go
retailers that don't actually know the exact release date. They'll just kind of guesstimate based on when it's supposed to be shipping to them. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I guess we'll definitely have to wait for Microsoft to confirm this, but they did say summer, and that's kind of right smack dab in the middle of summer, so it kind of makes sense.
Yeah, I could see this going gold in July, shipping to manufacturers, and then having an August or even a September,
Really?
early September
Wow.
ship
Okay.
date.
Do we count September as summer still? Is that?
Yeah, I think. Well, it depends on what you mean. If you're talking by the stars, the equinox is September 21st or 20th, sometime around there.
Right.
Isn't that when it officially autumn begins?
Sure.
Sure. Yeah.
I'm always talking by the stars, Tom. So
Yeah,
yes.
June. I know June 20th, 21st is the solstice. That's the longest day.
Okay, that makes sense then.
Yeah. So okay, yeah, because spring or summer doesn't actually
months,
begin until
right?
towards the end of June, which always threw me off because you
Right.
get your summer vacation earlier.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Flying Spatula posted the Gizmodo article on Mobilegeddon. Eric, are you aware of Mobilegeddon? Because it's
I've
coming tomorrow.
Never heard of Mobilegeddon.
This is important. It's Mobilegeddon. It's kind of an overdramatic name. It's a tweak to Google's search algorithm regarding mobile sites. It goes into effect tomorrow. The tweak only affects searches on mobile phones, doesn't even affect tablets, gives sites with a mobile-friendly design a boost in search ranking. You can tell which sites are deemed mobile-friendly if you want by looking for the gray mobile-friendly moniker by their name in search results on a phone, or by using a Google test tool, which you can find in their developers section. DailyTechNewsShow.com is mobile-friendly. I tested it this morning.
Awesome. Good for you guys.
So now that you know what it is, are you worried about Mobilegeddon?
Definitely not worried about it. I'm kind of excited about it.
Yeah,
Maybe. Excited is the wrong word. I'm interested. I'm glad it's happening for the people that go to mobile sites a lot. I try to avoid mobile sites like the plague, but that's just me.
Well, you want them when you're on your phone, though, don't you? It's like mobile-friendly.
Sometimes, actually sometimes, but other times they don't necessarily have all the functionality that I expect from the desktop version that I'm looking for sometimes.
I think that's a good point.
Yeah, so
I will find myself sometimes looking for that link that says "Show me the desktop version" because there's a menu option or something or a section that I can't find.
Yeah,
I'm not sure how good the Google tool is at making sure that all of those kinds of links are there.
That's something good to bring up for sure.
But again, this only affects search results on phones, not even tablets, and it only affects them, right? It only actually sends them like a little higher or a little lower in the results.
Yeah.
All right. Captain Kipper sent us this update from ZDNet that TWiT is rebooting the classic tech TV show The Screensavers under the name The New Screensavers. The show was announced during the 10-year celebration anniversary of TWiT and will feature many of the original members of the show as guest co-hosts, including the original co-host Kate Batello, Patrick Norton, John C. Dvorak, Morgan Webb, Martin Sargent, and Kevin Rose. So I'm actually really excited to see what Leo does with this. It's really cool to have the Screensavers coming back.
No, that's good. I'm very happy for everyone that's involved. I remember knowing about the screensavers, but I don't remember exactly. Was that on G4?
Oh, you are just this close to getting kicked off this show. Right? No, sir. It was on ZDTV and then later Tech TV. Actually, you know what, though? I take it back. The Screensavers was on G4 for a short period of time. You're correct.
See? You are the one who is the one that's going to...
Before it got turned into Attack of the Show, sort of.
That's what I'm getting confused. All right, that makes sense.
Doorsrio sent us a Gizmodo report that Norway will be the first country to turn off FM radio in 2017. Not just an FM radio, but like all FM radio broadcasting. The country is completing its transition to digital audio broadcasting, known as DAB. Norway has 22 channels on DAB compared to only 5 in the FM spectrum. And according to a TNS Gallup poll, 56% of Norwegian listeners use digital radio every day. U.S. Listeners, according to a 2012 Pew study, listen to AM and FM weekly. 90% of U.S. listeners listen to AM and FM radio weekly, even as more are switching over to internet-only services. So I don't see us turning off FM radio in the United States anytime soon. And also, a lot of people are thinking, oh, they're getting rid of radio in Norway. They're not. They're just switching from FM to digital audio broadcasting, which is more prevalent in Europe than it is here.
Do you listen to either FM or AM radio?
I listen to FM radio in the car when my wife is driving.
Okay. Otherwise,
she listens to FM radio. Yeah. Otherwise, it's totally Pocket Cast or Audible or Downpour or Downcast. Like, those are the only things I connect. Trying to think if there's other times that I listen to AM radio, but now that I can get all baseball games through MLB.TV, I don't even listen to that anymore.
Yeah.
And that is a look at the headlines. All right, another piece of news that came out today. Blizzard announced Heroes of the Storm is getting a release date of June 2nd. It actually goes into open beta on May 19th, which means pretty much anybody who wants to play can start playing then. They already have 9 million people in the closed beta, which has been around for more than a year. MOBA, if you don't know, stands for Multiplayer Online Battle Arena. It developed out of Defense of the Ancients mod, Dota, which was a mod for Warcraft 3, Reigns of Chaos, but Valve got control of the Dota name. I won't go into that long litigious process, but essentially you'll see Dota 2 from Valve. That is a MOBA, and so Blizzard had to change theirs from being Blizzard Dota to Blizzard All-Stars to eventually Heroes of the Storm, and that's what's finally coming out. Blizzard calls it a brawler. But Eric, you've been playing it, right? How would you describe it? It's like a team effort to capture the flag.
It's kind of, if you've ever played like a Warcraft 3, it's kind of like it's basically taking Warcraft 3's kind of a hero system where you're just controlling one hero and making it team based. So yeah, it's kind of like capture the flag, but it's more like destroy the base.
Yeah. So you have a base. There are multiple roads to get to the other base, and you either play against a computer, an AI, or you play against another team, and you've got, I think, what, 5 in this?
4 other people on your team?
Yeah, well, so 5 people total, four other people on your team. And you play heroes. Now, that's the cool thing about this Blizzard game is if you're a fan of any of the Blizzard properties, you can play heroes from multiple games, from StarCraft, from Warcraft, from Lost Vikings. Pretty much everything is in there.
Yeah, for sure. You can play as Diablo, I think, right now. And maybe
you got to buy him, though, and that's how they make their money, right?
Oh, yeah. Right. Well, the one thing about Heroes is that it feels like, whereas Dota, I tried to play Dota and it felt, it was kind of fun to get into, and I'm a former kind of hardcore gamer, so I'm willing to deal with a lot of like maintenance and stuff like that. But when I heard about Heroes of the Storm, I was like, oh, this is gonna be Blizzard's take, and it absolutely is Blizzard's take. It's a much more mainstream appealing MOBA, especially than Dota or Dota 2 or League of Legends. Like my whole thing with the whole Dota thing was having to go back to the base each and every time and buy stuff at the shop, and then maybe buy a little buy like, I think it was like a flying goat or something like that would come out to you and you could shop there. It's too complex, and in my old age I don't have a lot of patience for complexity. So if you can simplify it, which Blizzard has done, you can streamline it, which they've done. I feel like it makes for a much better playing experience and much more accessible playing experience to me, at least.
Well, and Blizzard has said that their job in all of their games is to make them fun to play. They definitely want to have complexity for people who want things to be hard to master, but they still want them to be easy to play, right? That old saw, easy to play, hard to master.
Exactly.
I do think what they're doing here is really interesting because a lot of you probably have never heard of MOBAs before because they were kind of complex to get into, and now they've made it massively appealing. It's much easier to get in here and play. They have a great tutorial if you want to run through it, and then it's pretty fun to get in with your friends, and you can just play against a computer. You don't have to get into any kind of grudge matches or shouting matches with other teams if you don't want to. There's lots of ways to play cooperatively, but you're also playing cooperatively. All of that said, Eric, I've been playing Hearthstone, even though I've had access to this for a long time, and I've tried to get into it and tried to play it, I just don't. There is still enough of a learning curve there to dissuade me, and that's probably because I just suck at MOBAs. But I don't know.
Yeah, I suck at MOBAs too, and I can totally see the appeal. I think for me, I need to. I've heard from other people that you need to give it a few hours, and when I say a few hours, I mean like 20 or so hours before you actually get it, before it kind of clicks with you. That can happen with a game. You can be playing it like, okay, that happened with me with WoW. Like the first weekend I got it, it was like, okay, I'm playing this. Everyone's told me how good it is, and okay, I can see kind of the appeal. But then by Sunday morning, when I woke up on Sunday morning, I got it on Friday. But by that Sunday morning, I couldn't think of anything else. I wanted to wake up and play. I was addicted. I was in, you know.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of waiting for that moment to happen with any MOBA, but especially Heroes of the Storm, and it hasn't happened for me yet either.
Okay, but us accepted, because we're not necessarily representative. I do think that Blizzard has a shot at mainstreaming MOBA. What kind of effect, if that were to happen, do you think it would have? Would there be just a lot of people who are Blizzard fans who like Heroes of the Storm and that would be it? Or do you think it would start to spill over? Do you think it will affect games like Dota 2 where they will start to adapt to bring in a larger audience?
I hope so. I mean, I understand not wanting to take away the depth, the complexity from these games, and like you said, you want to make them accessible, but still keep that depth so that hardcore players or players who want to put in the time and the money or whatever it is can still get greater rewards from those games. I'm a former Virtua Fighter player, and that game, this is a huge learning curve, especially the early ones. But I love getting really good at those games, getting really good at a really complex character, and then just be able to take guys on and totally obliterate them. So I love that aspect of putting the time in and getting the rewards. But I do want people. But the thing, Virtua Fighter, no one played. Like, no one knew how to play. No one wanted to play. Everyone played Tekken. Everyone played Soul Calibur because those things are much more accessible. So yeah, I want people to play eventually. So I'm kind of torn. I don't know exactly how it's going to affect them. I don't know how it's going to affect MOBAs in general. But I think you should always want more people to play your game. I think it's a delicate balancing act, though, and I don't know if Blizzard has hit that balance, hit the right balance or not. But I don't know. They're giving it a try, so I admire that.
Well, starting May 19th, you can try it for free if you haven't gotten into a beta already. That's when the open beta starts, and then June 2nd it becomes official. It's free to play, and you can keep playing it for free. You can pay for in-game items with gold. It's one of Blizzard's brilliances in Hearthstone that they're bringing over to Heroes of the Storm, which is, hey, you can play this game entirely for free and do well, or you can speed up your progress a little. They've got a pretty good balance as far as that goes.
Yeah.
Our pick of the day comes from Jeff, who recommends Ninite.com, Ninite, writing, it gives a quick way to install popular open source software and freeware. They automatically remove annoying toolbars and bloatware, usually included with the standard installs. I've been using it for years and wholeheartedly recommend it for people who do a lot of PC building, because that way you can just install all your favorite applications again as soon as you hit that fresh OS install. It's Ninite.com, Ninite.com. Not the first time we've mentioned it on the show, but I know a lot of people who swear by it. Do you use it, Eric?
No, never used it, never even heard of it, but it sounds like it would have made my my life a lot easier maybe 15 years ago when I was actually building PCs.
Well, don't learn from us, people. Don't let this happen to you. Go install Ninite now. It's not a paid thing. It's just Jeff's pick. And you can send your picks to us. Let us know what stuff you like, whether it's software, hardware, freaking coffee, anything that makes a tech-loving person's life better. Send it to feedback@dailytechnewsshow.com, and you can find my picks at dailytechnewsshow.com/picks. Got a few follow-up emails here. Eric, did you hear about the kid who got charged with a felony for changing the background image on his teacher's computer?
Yes, I heard that. That's all I know about it, though. I mean,
so we've been having a lot of people debate, like, what should have actually happened? What are the dangers? There are some reasons why the child definitely needs to be disciplined. There are a lot of people who feel like, but that was too far. Andrew, who is a co-executive producer of the show, wrote in and said, regarding that story from Slate, the 14-year-old 8th grader arrested and charged with a felony offense against a computer system and unauthorized access, I'm in law enforcement, and my agency has a significant role in the juvenile justice system. From my experience, if the facts as reported are accurate, this case would have a particularly benign outcome had this occurred in my state, Pennsylvania, and jurisdiction. Essentially, the judge would have brought the felony charges in and then said, look, it's a juvenile. We're going to assign you to community service. In fact, Andrew said maybe the judge would have gotten creative and had him scrub out trash cans at tech companies or something like that. And he said, even as a law enforcement officer, I'm a little shocked that this case was presented with a felony charge rather than with a miscellaneous school conduct-related offense. Yeah. Again, this is assuming the report is accurate. As an amateur technology geek, I'm more offended that a student could discover such a vital password and how obvious that password was. If the teacher was careless and or not using other mandated practices, that situation should severely be looked at. Hopefully, a creative judge would attempt to capitalize. That's the part I just mentioned. Anyway, thank you, Andrew, for writing in with that. Your reaction to the password being so easily guessable is not unique. We got a lot of people writing in and saying that. But first law enforcement officer to write in and weigh in on it. So I was interested in that.
Which side of the argument do you fall on?
I don't believe it should be a felony charge.
Yeah, it seems weird.
The background image, and again, Andrew's right. Facts of the case, aside, let's assume that what's being reported is correct, if that's true. He changed the background image to something mildly offensive. It was not porn, as far as we know. It was not something that could have gotten the teacher in any kind of serious trouble. It was just bad acting, and bad acting should be disciplined. I'm not going to advocate against that, but we had a lot of people write in last week saying, hey, I did a similar thing and this was the punishment I got. I didn't get charged with a felony.
Yeah.
How do you feel about it?
I mean, just based on what you just told me, it sounds like an overreaction to me. I mean, just based on what I know about the case, I don't know anything else, and it just seems weird that you would punish a kid for doing something that no one, you punish a kid this severely for doing something that no one actually got hurt over. It's just, it's weird to me.
We also got a lot of emails regarding the HTTPS discussion that we had with Darren on Friday. All of them were positive about the discussion, but a lot of people wanted to add certain perspectives. Alan Char wrote in and said, let's not make HTTPS sound too easy to implement. Just because Netflix can do it doesn't mean everybody can do it, and that's a fair point. It can add significant costs in implementation. Don't want to downplay that. I thought Anthony from Edinburgh had one of the best summaries of points that we should have covered in his opinion and that other people wrote in. He said the CPU dollar impact of HTTPS is typically not significant. Gmail found it cost 1% CPU, 2% network. However, using HTTPS for previously carefully optimized streaming of large video files is a special case with significant costs, according to Ars Technica. Netflix did a whole bunch of work, and it still hurt them. You didn't mention the impact to latency. The initial SSL handshake does do extra round trips, so time to render the page can take a hit. And he links to serverfault.com article about that. Using HTTPS does not hide which websites you are visiting either. It only hides which particular resource within the website is accessed, and of course the content of the resource. Interactivity is a red herring. Sure, there's some correlation between interactivity and authenticated activity, but conflating the two could be misleading. He says, up to you whether any of the above are worthy of 426 upgrade required status. But Anthony, I thought they were. They're great points. Thanks for writing in with them.
I understood about 2% of that email, actually.
Basically, the upshot, if you didn't understand that email, was harder than it looks.
Okay, gotcha.
Rich from lovely Cleveland said, the best argument I have for using HTTPS everywhere, most work network firewalls pretty much let you right through if you're using HTTPS. Not that I ever use my work computer for personal reasons, he adds. Just a thought.
None of us do.
Just a thought experiment.
Yeah.
None of us do, of course not. You will find Eric Franklin working diligently on help and how-to content and all kinds of great stuff at cnet.com. You can find him on Twitter, which he posts to personally from his home at twitter.com/nidopal, Nidopal. Now, actually, CNET has a pretty good policy about that. They're like, please, tell us about our content.
Yeah, exactly. So we post on
that. Yeah. Anything coming up? Anything you want to tell folks about before we let you go?
Anything coming up? I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of stuff coming up every day. Just come to cnet.com, check out our reviews, news. I mean, we're doing a lot of, lately we've been reporting on a lot of, like, movie trailers and stuff like that. It's kind of interesting because they're doing really well on our site. I think a lot of people are, like the Superman Batman trailer, when that got leaked last week, we reported on that. And then when the official trailer got released, we reported on that as well. And it just did tons of traffic. People are really interested in that stuff.
Cool. Good to know. And I saw that you were putting together a spring cleaning report that came out like a week or two ago.
That was how-to. That was CNET how-to that did that, and you can go to cnet.com/how-to, and you can find a bunch of spring cleaning helpful how-tos.
Yeah, just clean up your computer. Get rid of the cruft.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So check all that stuff out at cnet.com. Thank you to our patrons. 4,948 folks deserve a pat on the back. So if I'm not there next to you, give yourself one. You guys are the best. You make this show possible, and you are our bosses. We could not do it without you. Thank you so much. We are within $800. We just need $800, and we can officially put Veronica and Scott on the lineup for weekly appearances. We're going to start booking them anyway for at least a couple a month. But thank you, everybody who sees the value in the show and gives the value back. dailytechnewsshow.com/support for all the ways to support the show. Our email address is feedback@dailytechnewsshow.com. You can give us a call, 512-59-DAILY. That's 512-593-2459. Listen to the show live at alphageekradio.com, Monday through Friday, 4:30 Eastern, or visit our website, dailytechnewsshow.com. We'll be back tomorrow with Patrick Beja. Talk to you then.
This show is part of the Frog Pants Network. Get more at frogpants.com.
Diamond Club hopes you have enjoyed this program.
Good show.
Great show.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
Thanks
for having me.
Always
yeah,
good to have you, man. That was fun.
Thank you. Yeah, I was gonna jump in again, but we were kind of moving on. But the only thing I'm playing these days is Hearthstone. That's like literally the only game I'm playing.
No, it's probably good that you didn't jump in because that's all I've been playing too.
Yeah, especially since it got released on smartphones. So I take the bus in the morning, and that's my bus trip. It just goes by in like 5 seconds because I'm just playing Hearthstone. Yes.
Yeah, I in Black Rock Mountain. I don't know if are you doing the solo adventure?
Yeah. So so the heroics in Black Rock Mountain. I defeated the first wing of heroics. Second wing, I think I maybe have defeated two of those guys. The third wing seems impossible to me right now.
No, they're getting harder. I breezed the heroics the first week. Second week I had to work at it. I banged my head against those this weekend, and I got one of the current wing.
Do you remember which one you got?
The first one. I was able to do the first one, and I don't remember what deck I used to do it, but it was definitely a like things had to happen exactly right.
Right. Yeah. No, for sure. You have to try a few times and then hope for some luck. But yeah, I love it, man. Such a great game.
Well, and there is a similar thing with Heroes of the Storm in that it can be intimidating when you first get in because you don't have all the cards, and they do a great job of leading you into it and helping you build a deck. But early on, if you don't buy cards, it kind of feels like you can't climb the ladder very much, like you can't win. Best advice that I didn't take, that I have started taking, and now I wish I'd taken a lot earlier, was to do arena runs. Just spend your gold on arena runs.
Yeah, that's definitely good advice. I felt the same way until my brother-in-law started playing, and he never played before, and he just got right in with the basic cards, and he was kicking ass. It was ridiculous. He's kind of a savant with that stuff, and he's a Magic player, so he just he took to it really quickly and easily, and so you can win with basic cards as well. So
that's true. I've seen like pro players do it. I'm not a pro player though.
Yeah, me neither. Far from it.
What are we going to title this, Jenny?
Oh, hold on one second. Sorry. I was looking at that Italian astronaut wearing a Star Trek uniform in space, and I was having a moment.
Shot.
It's a great shot. I ain't no follow back tweeter. Okay, Tesla now. Pretty flicking cool.
Ah, crap.
Phone apocalypse now. Are you Nokia or Yeskia? I like that. I'm looking. Meet the Nokians. Better to be Musk than good.
So true.
All your storm base are belong to us.
Okay, I'm always good with an all your base reference.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a month or so.
Yeah, exactly.
And the top vote getter is definitely substantive, but I feel like maybe it's not the maybe it would be too heavily editorial.
I think
for a
I'm going to
title.
go with Are You Nokia or Yeskia?
Yeah, that's the more whimsical quality of show title we love.
Whimsical.
Whimsical.
Whimsydale. One of my favorite cheeses.
I'm so hungry. You said cheese, and I was so hungry.
All I have to do is say cheese. Sorry, that's a power word.
Cheese.
We had a Game of Thrones watching party last night in which our two like our best couple friend came over, and it started out, I was like, yeah, we'll have some cheese out, and by the end of like a half hour there was an entire table laid out with like a feast that would have made the Joffrey wedding party proud. I don't know how it escalated so quickly, but I made like bacon with brown sugar and spicy brown sugar bacon, and like things just kept ending up on the table. There were like random roast chickens and French fries. I mean, it was just insane. So we can't do that again because it took my whole Sunday out of commission, setting it up, cleaning it up, doing the whole thing, and hence when I couldn't find my jury duty
Oh shoot!
Flip.
juror ID thing at midnight last night, it was not a pretty picture, so I had to
Oh,
call this
God.
morning. So I may have to do it all again.
Well, no. If you called, you got through. You should be all right, right?
I called at 8 o'clock this morning and it accepted it,
Okay.
but so it should be okay.
If they accepted it, I would think that's all you need.
Yeah, we'll find out. We'll find out.
You can still log in tonight, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's like, to me, and I wasn't chosen today. So to me, like, this whole thing escalated into a cause and effect disaster of a wonderful, wonderful Sunday night.
Did you have lemon cake
We didn't have lemon cake. We
or
had
trenchers? Did you have trenchers?
no, we had ale in goblets
good.
and frosted mugs for the guys. We had lots of different amazing desserts, including brown butter Rice Krispie treats, which are phenomenal. So it really went on. It went on.
You watch Game of Thrones, don't you, Eric?
I do. I didn't see last night's episode yet, but yeah, I watch it. I'm through the third book, so that's how far I'm caught up with the book.
Okay.
Are you guys book readers?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I'm all caught up on the book.
Yeah.
I haven't read all the ancillary stuff though. He's got a bunch of like short stories and novellas and stuff. I haven't read all those.
Without getting into spoiler territory, but I'm still disappointed that we still haven't seen that one character yet.
It doesn't sound like we're going to either.
Really?
Yeah. I could be
Yeah.
wrong, but it kind of feels like they're just skipping that.
Yeah, I mean, when I read that in
You're
the
talking
book.
about the talking dragon who delivers cereal to all the children, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
of course.
that
That
one.
one. When I read that in the book, that character's appearance, it was like, I can't wait to see this on screen. This is gonna be awesome.
Yeah.
This is gonna be
Yeah.
best.
I think they're waiting. I think they're waiting till we all assume it's not happening, and then they just drop it.
Maybe that's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I would do.
Right.
Take it far enough out of the timeline so that it seems like it's not happening, and then boom,
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good.
here's hoping.
Yeah, I'll hope along with you.
Yeah. And we shall say no more.
Yes,
You
exactly.
can call me
Um,
Hope Along Cassidy.
Guys, thanks for having me. There's a bunch of fires collecting in my inbox.
Okay,
next
yeah.
to you right
No,
now.
Yep.
no problem, man.
Um,
Thanks for hanging out.
Yeah. See you guys.
All right. Talk to you soon.
All right.
That's why they call him the fireman.
Nah. I call them the cavalry.
No. Don't
Yeah.
call me that.
You sound an awful lot like Agent May. That was a really good Agent May
Thank you.
impersonation. Just gotta get your, your
You
mouth
gotta
real
just,
tight
yeah,
and angry.
exactly. Keep your lips together. It helps. She's my favorite. I love her.
Yeah, she's actually one of the most, here's the thing about character consistency. Agent May is the absolutely most consistent character in the way that they sometimes take these characters and bat them around like tennis balls on a court.
Like
And they're
Sky.
making these, like Sky, they make these hard right character turns with no lead up or anything. And man, they have not done that with Agent May, and I think that's great.
And I didn't really like her character on Stargate Universe much at all.
Because it felt like a last-minute addition.
Yeah, and I felt like she was wasted on that character.
Well, they didn't have any good plot lines or stories that involved her. She was always some sort of like, okay, well, we got to use her now since she's part of the show.
Yeah.
I mean, at least in Star Trek, they're contractually obliged to write everyone in.
Anyway, I thought it was kind of neat. Like, the whole... Matt and I have different opinions on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., which is basically, I love it and can't miss it, and I want to watch it first thing, and he doesn't like it until he watches it, and it's proved that it's good for that week. Because they do sometimes really whip those characters around.
I'm
Reasons.
I'm with your husband.
Yeah. It's a totally legitimate opinion because sometimes those episodes aren't that good.
Roger's a flanaman.
Yep, he's a flan man.
Oh, Flan, F-L-A-N.
Not a Joseph's son.
Not a Joseph's son. Matt's name is Flanagan, and so Matt's last name is Flanagan. And so he calls himself Flan Man. Because you do.
Also, is a big fan of the dessert. Is he? I don't know.
Oh, I am. He can't. He's lactose intolerant.
Oh, that's so unfortunate.
Flan is so tasty.
So
I'm Flan Man, delivering flan to everyone because I can't eat it.
I'm only super lactose intolerant, and I don't know if it's lactose, but like whole milk, I can't drink whole milk. I can drink non-fat milk.
You're fat intolerant.
Maybe.
You just can't eat fat.
I wonder if there's more lactose in the fat.
I don't know. All right. Well, that is it. I'm out of the post. So thank you all for coming. And I hope we passed the audition.